Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Khantehnt.
Khantehnt!
We're here to talk more Attack on Titan, but first, you should head over to our Subscribestar page, subscribestar.com/Khantehnt, and pledge $10 to get all our bonus episodes. More coming soon.
Khantehnt! Yoi. Attack on Titan, 6-10.
Ooh.
I had not seen these episodes yet. First time, I knew that this happens, that Eren turns into a Titan.
You did, but you didn't know the details,
No.
which is interesting.
I thought that he just turns into a Titan. I didn't realize it's more like he sort of summons a Titan golem around himself.
This is why people call them Flesh Gundams. And yeah.
Flesh Gundams.
Yeah.
I thought Evangelions were Flesh Gundams already.
They are. And in fact, this makes, Evangelion is wacky in many ways, but this is even more nonsensical. Like, okay, right to spoilers, people have seen Attack on Titan. I've seen all of season 1 before, and I read much of the manga past this. We'll go back through all the details leading up to it, but just the shocking revelation that Eren becomes a Titan and is able, we see in this span of episodes him like developing the ability to turn in at will. We learn that he is in fact alive because that's what happened. And the fact that you seem to activate the power and out of nowhere a Titan body seems to form around you almost instantly, which is interesting.
But also like only to whatever extent its purpose is. Like because we see him form enough of a Titan body to block a cannonball at one point and then just stop. And he himself observes, oh, it must have been because I only needed it for such a small purpose that it only took a half form. And then he says like, what should I do for this next mission? Oh, the 15-meter Titan should be fine. So like, assumably, he can control, or maybe not even control, but like through whatever he instinctively thinks he needs is what will come out. I don't know. Seems convenient, but you know.
I don't know. I mean, convenience is indeed the name of the game. So let's go back a little bit and let's talk about the elephants in the room. That when we last left our heroes, it had looked like it was curtains for Eren.
Yes.
And that it was all done. At the end of episode 5, that's the shocking revelation of, oh my God, Armin barely survives, having been saved by Eren. Eren is arm, leg, bit off, swallowed by a Titan. Oh my God, all our friends are starting to die. This is true war. Oh my God. And, you know, episodes go along. And now, not only is Eren alive, he's got back those limbs. So classic shonen protagonist thing. You lose your limbs, and then they come back through circumstances.
So, you said that the first time you watched this show, you were, like, you thought Eren was actually dead, right?
You know, watching these back again just now, I'm glad I did, because I enjoyed it very much. I felt not only justified in my initial thinking that they were dead, I thought the show was doing a really good job of selling it. Because it's interesting. Episode 6, I believe it's episode 6, right after Eren is dead, we start to get flashbacks that not only give a ton of characterization to like the other characters, but also Eren. And it feels like we're building up the other characters now that are clear, like shitty, almost like episode 1 of Talentless Nana. It feels like they're setting it up just to subvert, because actually Mikasa's gonna be the main character, or Armin's gonna be the main character.
That seemed to be what they were going for sure. With episodes 6 and 7, it's like, okay, we're giving Mikasa some space without, like, it's a good idea in general to have Eren separated from her for this part, so that, because like she basically clings to his coattails up until this point. So like having her forcefully separated from him gives us much more perspective on what she is like. And I also like that we learned the answer to the question, like, what would these two do if Eren died?
Yeah, we sure do.
Because like from the start, they've just been they've just been riding his ass. So like they didn't really have any purpose other than his purpose. So in the absence of him, each of them has to be like, what am I still doing here?
And the way this works out really, in a satisfying way, brings that to a close. And kind of up to episode 10, I guess, where we end. That's like the first full arc, or episode whatever, when the battle breaks out, like 4 to 10 is like the real battle happens, their first time sortying what goes down. That little adventure where we think Eren dies right up front, as you said, because Eren's gone, the other characters have to now develop some personality, and we get attached to them a little bit more, and we start to like learn some of these other characters' names and stuff. Does a really valuable and good job, and made me really care. It's just this classic thing of, this is a fucking war. These soldiers are dying by the handful. They're just dropping like flies. We don't know exactly who's gonna last, who's not gonna last yet. And it really helps you, just as like watching like soldiers being deployed to some like foreign territory to be just like obliterated for some like nebulous purpose they don't even understand. You developed so much of a connection with them, like really fast, kind of like kids dropped in like a battle royale situation. Just need like a little backstory, watch them struggle, instant endearment, and I feel that so strongly here.
I don't know if I would say I was endeared to any of the characters massively besides
What about Mikasa? Okay, all right.
Mikasa got like a whole backstory arc, but yeah, I mean, well, so episode 6 is the Mikasa and Eren backstory, and I'll say first of all, it's hard for me to know how I would have felt watching these if I had watched the show continually, because I saw episode 5 when it came out. I was not convinced Eren was dead because he lost an arm and a leg.
Yeah.
That's just code for he's not dead. Like,
yep.
If you don't see a kill shot, they're not dead. Even then, you know, it can be questionable in a lot of shows. But like, I'm fairly confident this show wants you to at least think that people can die. But like, the fact that he loses specifically a leg and an arm and then gets swallowed, I was like, okay, he's gonna find a way out. But I don't know if I would have continued feeling that way if I had seen 2 whole episodes without him.
And that's how I felt. I really thought I mean, I had flashbacks to Gurren Lagann and the nightmare of the end of episode 8 that I won't go into, but go check it out. It's a pretty good show. I had thought a certain character was the main character, stupidly, as a little boy who didn't really know this stuff that well. And boy, did I have a rude awakening, and I felt the same thing was happening here, and you know. Maybe it doesn't go the same way.
But turns out different. But the Mikasa and Eren backstory is...
Let's get into that, because I fucking love that shit.
It's interesting, because it's not even that it's like a great scene in the sense of like being well told. It's the idea of it and how it changes your perspective on these characters to make them make sense. Because throughout this show so far, like... My biggest criticism in the early episodes of Eren is like all he cares about is kill Titans. He's just like an extremely angry fucking kid. Well, when you see that he literally murdered several adults as a small child in order to save Mikasa, and he murders them with no hesitation and no remorse.
And speaking of them, after this child murders these adults, simply says, "I did not kill humans, I put down animals." Yes. I was like, that's my boy there!
They were dangerous animals, I had to put them down, they just happened to look like humans. That's the way he puts it.
This was the episode. Episode 6 is where I was truly fucking hooked into these characters. And at the time, I thought Eren was gone for good. And I'm like, God damn, such a fucking interesting character. So Mikasa's family was being tracked because like they're Orientals, they seem to be Japanese or something, and so like some slavers come to kidnap her and her mom to sell them off. Just coincidentally, as Eren's dad, who's a doctor, happens to come around to do stuff to him. So they get captured. The mom and dad are dead. Mikasa's off by herself. And so Eren just happens to be wandering the woods by himself, just as a way to like stay away from his dad, who's watching the corpses or whatever, who's trying to go get help.
Watching the corpses.
Well, he's probably trying to go get help. Who knows what they're gonna do? They'll turn to Titans. I don't know. And it's just so coincidentally. I just want to set the full stage. Sheerly coincidentally, Eren happens to find like the place where they were like keeping Mikasa in just another place in the woods somewhere.
A shack in the woods.
A shack in the woods. There it happens to find. And there's a knock on the door. As we're seeing the scene, we see from Mikasa's perspective a flashback of her parents being murdered by these absolute, like, the worst people possible. Yeah. Rapists. They're like, we'd fuck her, but she's too young. We'll give her a few years, and then, we'll get back to her.
They killed the mom, even though they're not supposed to, just because she just wouldn't stop mouthing off at me, dude. And so I axe murdered her, yeah. So
there's a knock at the door. They open it, it's Eren as a baby. And we're all thinking at this moment, oh my God, what are they gonna do to Eren now? Eren's vulnerable, Eren's gonna get hurt. Opens the door, wha-bam, stabbed. The guy comes out, it's like, holy shit, you just killed my friend. And Eren is ready with a second weapon, like a knife spear, tied on a broom, and stabs that dude too. And it's just so fucking awesome that he planned this whole thing out.
And then, he doesn't just stab, he like goes in like...
He does a running charge.
Like gets on top of the body, stabs it.
Like saying,
sure they're dead.
What are you saying? You violated the non-aggressive principle. I have to fucking kill you. McNuke launched. And then, as he unties Mikasa, and she's traumatized, and she says, there was a third man, and they turn around, and the third man has just arrived, and of course, now they don't have the element of surprise, he's able to be choking Eren out, but Eren looks at Mikasa and just says, fight! It's the law of the jungle, baby! You're gonna die!
He tells her either you can either not fight and definitely, he said you could fight and you can either lose and die or win and live, or you can not fight and definitely lose.
Right.
Which is, it seems like obvious, but this is like the most important thing in the world to me, is like that sentiment of like the only way you can definitively say you lost is if you're either dead or you gave up. You can never say that you lost if you're still trying and you're still alive.
Agreed, yeah.
So
the fact that in that moment, Mikasa, I mean, because the whole time we've seen Mikasa as this unbelievable badass that's been hated since the moment we saw her.
Yeah.
Eren runs in to beat up the bullies to save Arm, and they say, what a pussy, not worried. But then Mikasa shows up right behind him like, oh shit, let's get the fuck out of here.
Let me remind you, that was assumably after he had already murdered grown adults.
Absolutely, yeah. So Eren's got spunk, and he's got some plans, but he's not like that strong or anything.
He would still get his ass kicked.
Yeah, but I mean, it just, seeing Mikasa do her like Sharingan activate, her ninja technique awakening, and then shift into permanent badass mode for the rest of her life in that moment, inspired by Eren. I mean, looking back at it now, you know, I could see a lot of people being like, oh, Mikasa, like, sure, she's strong, but like, typical like weak woman character just following her man around. If this doesn't make you understand why she's so unbelievably devoutly loyal, the things this boy did to protect her, just because it seemed like the right thing to do, fucking awesome.
I really need to emphasize the lack of remorse.
Yeah.
And there's no point where he's like guilty over it or anything, or where like they question the morals. It's like unilaterally, he just did a good thing.
This
he
was
just
a man
saved her by murdering people. It's good. These kids are now badasses. They are now the coolest people.
If there was ever a man born to be a genocide machine, it was Eren, and it's hopefully he'll use that ability for good.
So that definitely made the characters better. And then the next episode, you've kind of got an arc that everybody is sort of simultaneously undergoing, of realizing that they now have responsibilities.
Right.
Of like, well, first you have the wave of just all the people fucking dying again, which I'm hoping that we're finally kind of getting away from that now, of like the mass hysteria scenes of like, all right, Titan attack, let's have like 15 minutes of people dying and getting picked off and losing their minds and all that. And like, not to say that all that stuff shouldn't necessarily happen, but similar to this director's other work, High School of the Dead, which does it in a more funny way. A lot of these apocalypse shows just have a very negative outlook on human nature and humanity. And by that I mean everybody's always like fighting each other to live. It's always like pushing you in front of the guy, or like there's the rich dude who's blocking off the whole entrance to a staircase, and you know.
My goods are literally worth more than all your lives combined, so fuck you, die to the Titans, I'm keeping my gold, or
Never mind that his shit could not possibly fit through the story he's blocking. So like, comically retarded villains are in this show here and there. I'm not the biggest fan of that, because not only because it's like a little much, but also I don't think people really want to live that badly. Like,
that's your criticism.
I mean, aside from the people in the show who are literally killing themselves, like there should be more people like ready to go into battle. And I guess that kind of started to feel justified to me once we introduced the green coat guys. Where like these are those guys. These are the guys who are like, I expect to die to a Titan. What are you talking about? Not even like, oh, I'm ready to lay my life down, but like, no, I'm gonna get eaten by Titans one day. This is what I do. I fight,
I know that it's been 5 years since the initial fall, but I just think it's fair to say it has been 100 years of peace and only 5 years of training. So I give them a little bit of slack.
But they do have like warriors who go out to like fight Titans deliberately even before, right?
Well, that's true. But like 5 years ago, that force was like kind of not doing that well. And like, so those forces have been bolstered by like Erwin, the commander, whatever. So I'm just trying to give them a little bit of understanding. I think that's fair. They were this population was really turned into sheep in that like 100 years.
It seems like it.
I get it, but you know, I'm just saying. I can kind of understand it.
I guess that's fair for the setting itself to have more to do with it. Yeah, like It was just up until the
Let's
Green
not forget,
dudes...
the opening song does have lines like, "We have become the hunters. We will no longer be the prey."
Yeah, well, that's what I want to see. I want to see them make that, and like all of our main characters are slowly making that transition of like, well, I guess, and Mikasa is my favorite because she's the one who like is the, not just that she's the least afraid to die, but that she's just like not even worried about it. Like it's not a concern for her. Like, oh, I'm gonna die to the like. There's
for her, protecting Eren is so much of a higher priority than her own life.
And there's a moment where like she almost is like just like, all right, well, Eren's gone. I don't really know what I'm doing, so I'm just gonna let myself die. And then her body just kind of like reacts, and it's just like, nah, like that's not happening. You're too good.
I love that moment so much because while as two Titans are closing in on her from either side, you know, yes, she got emotional, she lost her gas, she lost her like tons of her advantage. She now has to like dig her way out from this hole that she's put herself in. It's that her memory of Eren, she loves Eren so much that just the fact that, she's accepted Eren's death, the fact that she being alive, remembering Eren, helps keep this hero, this like golden gleaming human being in her mind, this pristine hero who gave her everything, and that scarf that she wears to this day, the fact that that keeps her going is so fucking endearing.
If I die, I can't remember him anymore,
exactly.
is what she says.
I mean, talk about, like, this Mikasa characterization arc just makes her so fucking the strongest and the cutest. That's who Mikasa is.
I think my favorite moment in that whole arc is when, because there's a part where everybody's like bummed and they're sitting on a rooftop, and then she's like, fuck all you guys, you're cowards, I'm gonna go fight. And they're all like, oh shit. But then when she like after almost letting herself die, she like reflects on what she just did, and she's like, I led those people out there when I was not ready to take responsibility for their lives. I called them all cowards and got emotional and angry, but like I did not actually make a plan. I didn't actually like try to figure out how I was going to keep these people alive. I'm just mad at them for not fighting. So once she realizes that, even she has to take a step back and be like, oh shit, like maybe I shouldn't just be Russian badass mode all the fucking time.
And that's why Mikasa doesn't really seem like the commander type. She seems more like the stealth ninja killer type, you know? So like, I mean, John, or Gene, or John, he seems to be the one they're currently building up for like commander roles. Yeah, and of course Armin with the strats and whatnot. Yes. Yeah.
しかしすげえなミカサはどうやったらあんなに早く動けるんだ。やはりいつもみたいに冷静じゃない。なんとしてでも勝つ。なんとしてでも生きる。追い詰められたミカサの前に現れたのは巨人を襲う謎の巨人だ。
Yeah, the whole building up Jean for leadership thing was like a little heavy-handed, where there's just a guy like flying alongside him telling him like, oh, you're so good at leadership, bro.
That was the worst part.
That guy is asking to die. Why isn't he dead already? I'm shocked. He's like, every line of dialogue out of his mouth is like,
I wasn't even
everyone around me is cool and great. I can't wait to see tomorrow.
Yeah, that's Marco. And Jean's leadership abilities are really not that impressive. Like, what did he do? He noticed the Titans were distracted and said, they're distracted, let's go. Yeah. Okay, that I appreciate. Someone had to do that. Yeah. It's just, while like Mikasa's role is really being ironed out here, Armin as the tactician is really being ironed out here, Jean's feels like the least kind of deserved so far.
It's just that like they're just telling us it. Like they're just they're like explaining, oh, this is the arc this character is having right now.
Like notice, I have no problem with Sasha or Connie, who are just the kind of fuck up goofballs. I like them. They're doing their best. You know, no shame on them. Except the fact that they kind of fucked up one of the plans and almost got everybody killed that one time. But other than that, and then of course, you know, the fact that, well, I mean, okay, so taking a step back here. I love the little arc here where it looks like Eren is dead. Mikasa regains control of herself and realizes, I will fight. But right as her arc ends, interestingly, as her emotional arc right there has stopped, the plot turns. And now, all of a sudden, one of those two Titans attacks another Titan. So what we get from then on is Mikasa realizing, wait, one of these Titans would actually be theoretically useful to us, and really Armin's the one who comes up with the plan. Let's use this Titan, who miraculously seems to fight other Titans. as a
and
tool.
Not people.
And not people. That's right.
Most Titans avoid everything but people.
And I want to say, I really loved the kind of misdirect that turns out to be, because we've been set up for a while now with this idea of the abnormal Titans that are like stronger and more unpredictable. And it's the unpredictability that makes them so dangerous. It's entirely possible with everything we know that this Titan could have just been another abnormal Titan.
I honestly didn't even consider watching this not realizing that was Eren. Like, I didn't consider what that would be like because I just knew.
Thought he was dead. Yeah. Okay, you had seen these things. When I first watched this, I did not know, and remember being completely blown away. I was a younger and more naive man back then. That it turned out to be Eren, because I really loved the idea that they were just using their current tactical advantage and identifying a particular way, like, oh, is this series going to be about using Titans against each other? Not really as it goes on, but to a degree. Anyway, I just love that there was an element that was acted kind of as a misdirect that did sell that for me.
Yeah, it was neat because, like you said, none of them know that Eren is the Titan, so they view it as a mysterious new asset that they're trying to explore, and that is a lot better than just like how I had assumed this scene would go, because again, I saw episode 5, heard that he becomes a Titan, so my assumption was like he'll probably lay around dead for an episode, and then he'll Hulk out and I'm a Titan now, this is weird, and then he'll beat up all the other Titans and
wasn't this
the battle will be over.
This was so much more of an interesting way to handle that.
It was done really well because of the fact that you have Eren fighting Titans over here.
Yeah.
Like, it's not being focused on as like the chief thing going on. It's badass when it's happening, but like everybody else is doing other shit.
It gives the other characters a chance to develop personality and, more importantly, agency. Yes. And so we, as viewers, can be like, oh yeah, I like this character because he did X, Y, Z. I remember that. That was impressive. The fact that, like, within the supply compound, so the supply teams have cucked out. And they're just they're literally killing themselves because they're so scared in there. And so we get our little mini arc. If our characters are out of gas, we've got to get in there, get the gas to restore our 3D maneuverability gear, abilities and whatnot, and do that. And the fact that that plan ultimately culminates in, like, there are exactly 7 small Titans in this one room, in the supply room. We have to tactically kill them using this plan, and they execute it, and we just... It attaches us. It's not just, okay, Mikasa's a badass who can kill everyone. No, it's not that. It's Armin makes a plan that uses everyone, and we all get to grow.
That scene in many ways felt like the real beginning of like, they attacked on Titan.
Whoa!
They did it.
It's true.
They did the thing. Everyone was involved. There was a whole plan. They like you said, tactical. All the main characters were there. You're like, wow, this is like what it probably is going to be, or should be, or what you imagine it would be.
And what I love about that scene is that it's not that it's just... I can understand an anime kind of doing this, of just using Titans and 3D gear and the scissor blades. Like, these are the three things we got, we're going to do them for all the time. No, in this situation, they use cannons a little bit, but they use guns to blind them. They don't have their 3D gear because they're in too tight a space. It makes a lot of sense, and the plan kind of goes wrong, and they have to think on their feet and have, some of their more agile guys save the day so people don't get killed. All that stuff was just really, really well done, I thought, in the sequence.
Yeah, so then we get to episode 10, which is the worst of the ones we watched, IMO.
Yeah, I agree.
As the episode mostly takes place within... a fog.
Fog of war.
So the end of episode 9, Eren wakes up. I should say that he, the Titan collapses after they beat all the Titans. They win. They win the battle for now. Eren's all fucked up, and then he comes out of the Titan. Everybody's like, what the fuck?
They see for the first time that they realize this Titan was Eren all along. He's not dead. Oh my god. And seeing Mikasa's emotional reaction to seeing her buddy.
Scene.
I mean, I got a lot of emotions out of it. That was some good shit.
Good Mikasa action.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, though, then at the start of the next episode, basically Eren, or at the end of the episode,
due to a wacky psychopath misunderstanding where Eren wakes up smiling and says, "I'm gonna kill them all." Yeah. Oh no! That's akin to Lelouch saying, "What if you killed all the Japanese, Euphemia? Wouldn't that be wacky?" It's a little bit like that.
So yeah, he wakes up. He's just in like a plaza, surrounded by people like pointing guns at him and basically being like the guy who's in command, Mr. Dark Eyes makes shits his pants all the time. Is like, we gotta kill him. He's definitely a Titan. And he's like, wait, hear me out. And they're like, nope. And so They fire a cannon at him. He brings out half-formed Titan, blocks cannonball. Somehow, this cannonball / Titan arm combination causes an explosion where the dust from the explosion, the smoke, just sits in this plaza for the entire rest of the episode.
Now, actually,
as the characters sit and talk and have emotional internal dialogue about what they're going to do to get out of it.
It's actually even worse than that, because if you recall, it's the end of episode 9 when Eren does that, and through like the entirety of episode 10, in this massive fog, and they do the thing. They do the thing where Armin says like, oh no, I've only got 20 seconds to think of the next thing. Meanwhile, like 5 minutes of dialogue pass. Bro, I know that it's in his head, he's thinking really fast, but I just roll my eyes at that stuff.
It was an obscenely long time to be going back and forth between guy who's wrong yelling and them going, oh no, what are we gonna do about it, you know? And like, it just, like all of the Armin in his head stuff in that scene was just kind of like stuff that we'd already been going through, you know? It's like, I don't know, it's just like an overlong scene, kind of boring. There was no real tension in that scene because there's all 3 of the main characters. I'm pretty sure they're not going to get hurt here. This guy is just dumb, you know?
Yeah. If I was watching this as it was coming out week by week, I think I just would have been like, God, what a fucking flat line of an episode. And it was the last one we watched, unfortunately. Now, that being said, I appreciate the drama going on there, you know? This is like, as opposed to like in Death Note, you know, same director, when he does the legendary Kira potato chip eat moment, the drama that's actually happening in that scene is intense and feels really good, and you like it, and that little added flair, or when Mikami Teru is writing in the Death Note with all the extra animation, those are great, because the drama and the stakes are good. But the problem is when you're like dragging out a piece of drama with like the heavy music, boom, 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 are they gonna die? For like a 10-minute sequence, it just gets fucking tiresome and you just want it to move on. So at that point, like as a manga, when there was no music, would probably feel a lot better. It'd feel a lot less fucking played up. And that's when you think that you can't have this level of emotion for this length of time at like every episode, dude. You've gotta relax sometimes.
It kind of ties into what I had been saying about Slime Isekai, about how that show doesn't do this problem. Where it can have dramatic things happen that don't have to be dwelled on, that don't have to have the whole 9 yards, like every single time anything happens, you know?
And you know, theoretically, that could undercut moments that could use a little more drama. I mean, it's theoretically possible. And in this show, I mean, I just described the opposite problem. So like, you know, there are strengths and weaknesses to either approach. In this case, tune that shit down sometimes would do it well. But I appreciate the point of this scene. Armin needs to now convince these people who have never seen anything like a human turning into a Titan. This is a totally new concept to them, and this point has really been sunk into our heads deeply at this point. Every Titan is a threat and a monster. If a human has any connection to a Titan, we can only assume they are also a nightmarish threat who could kill all of us. So I get why everyone's so scared and so terrified. And I'm with them on that. It's just that the conversation could have been like 30 seconds long, and ultimately is, as Armin just runs out and says, no, guys, trust me, we can leverage this, we can make it work out. He says, no, we can't. But yes, we can. Just believe in me. I'll risk my life. And then they do.
In the end, they don't even convince the guy. Commander Pixis just shows up and says like, oh, actually, get the fuck out of here, idiot. Like,
I guess they delayed long enough for him to get there. They avoid death, you know? Cool. Fine.
Well, Pixis shows up. He seems like a cool guy.
He's more open-minded,
he's eccentric. He's he wants to be eaten by a beautiful woman. That makes sense. And there's, I guess what I'm hoping for. So in Legend of the Galactic Heroes, in that show, the first like 13 or so episodes, a lot of it is just like all of these shitty nobles and stuff like the ones we see in this show just dying. It's like 13 episodes of all the shitty people running society getting killed off, and then all the cool people like moving up through the ranks and now being able to have influence and stuff.
Right.
And so I'm kind of hoping we'll get some of that effect here as like more of these dumb fucks just like die or are useless, and more cool people come in and like don't have to have quite the dumb conversations.
Well, we haven't seen much of him yet, but we did get an episode, I think it was 9 or so, when Levi and the boys finally show up, and Levi and the Survey Corps are going to be important characters. And we just get a little bit of them right now. We see Hanji, or Hanj, the girl who you thought was cool.
Their introduction was a hopeful moment for me.
Yeah.
Partly, like, not only because they were actually, like, fighting with gusto and, like, not afraid to die, but, yes, the girl with glasses who literally likes Titans.
Yeah.
She is a Titan otaku, and I was just, it was both, everything about their introduction was like a finally moment for me. Of like, oh, this world makes sense now because there are freaks in it, and like I can't connect until I see the freaks who are like enjoying the time of bad. You know,
I personally relate to Eren's freakish bloodlust because I feel it inside me as well. Yeah,
fair. But you know, like just having like the gang of characters who are not freaking the fuck out and overwhelmed by the situation. Is nice. Not because I don't think I would be freaking the fuck out and terrified. Yeah. Obviously, I would be if Titans invaded. I'd probably also just get eaten right away. I don't know, like.
Yeah, I mean, most people would.
It's just nice to have, like, when the show is just in a constant state of, like, people are afraid and they're getting eaten, and I, as a viewer, am like, this is a cartoon. I am not afraid. You know, it's nice to have characters who are also not afraid, I guess.
And, of course, most people know that, like, the most popular character from the show generally is Levi, who's, like, strong human man.
He's got the Hiroshi Kamiya voice. Can't.
And we see him here for the first time doing something, you know, being cool, slaying some demons, some Titan boys. And we get the little character moment of he's introduced as like, oh, he's a very clean man, he's very annoying to people.
But he grabs the guy's bloodied hand
One
as
of his
dying.
lieutenant guys was, first of all, this guy impressed me right away.
Yeah.
That guy was my favorite fucking character because as he is in the mouth of a Titan, being bitten in half right here, and as he's being chomped down on, he says, "Fuck you! Humanity will never die!" And he stabs the Titan in the face as he's being bitten down on. Now, just unfortunately too late, Levi shows up, slices the fucking neck of the dude, and so the dude is on the ground dying, and Levi, as he's watching him bleed out, the guy says, "Captain Levi, did we make a difference? Does my life matter for the sake of humanity?" And Levi says, "Yes, I will carry your fucking burden on my back. I will do your share for you. We will defeat the fucking Titans. We'll slay them all, bro!" As he holds his bloody hand. Whoa, but he's a clean freak. That's like character. That's like a good man right there. Levi's a good man. And so that's just an inherently, a little corny, a little, like the very cliche way to do it, but instantly you get attached to this guy. It's like, all right, this guy, I can see good things coming with this guy later.
You know what it might be? It might just be that Eren is the only character in the show who, from the beginning, is not frustrating because he has such a clear goal.
Yes.
He wants to kill all the Titans, and we are automatically behind that. So basically, every other character's level of basedness is dependent on how badly they also want to kill Titans.
Yeah.
Like, once we get to a point that everybody is on the level of Eren, of just like, all I want to do, like, I've lost too many friends, nothing matters, kill Titans, that's my life, like, they will really be in the zone.
I can't speak too clearly on it because I haven't really followed it for a while, but I know that, like, when it comes to, like, fears for the future, I've heard that, like, things get, I mean, of course this is true, but like things get less emphasized on fighting the Titans, and as these things inevitably go, it becomes more of a struggle between the humans.
Political.
And things get far more complicated than you know, the level we're at right now. But I just hope, having only seen season 1, you know, and forgetting what happens much in the manga, I hope that we retain, as you're saying, the laser focus on murder all the fucking Titans for the sake of glorious humanity, and we'll do whatever we must do to secure our freedom and our future together.
I don't even mind if the goal changes from killing all the Titans. I just want the characters to be in the mindset that Eren's in, of like, we are all hard asses, and all we're out to do is fight. Like, I've had enough panic-stricken fear. I get it. Titans are scary.
And
Let's kill them.
I think the good news is our characters, the ones that remain, will become that kind of character, of that just dedicated, like Ghost in the Shell organization, Section 9 of just, we will do the mission, maybe we'll make a joke here and there, we can all have a lighthearted time, but we are focused on the fucking job.
Eat some steamed potatoes.
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
Once in a while.
So, and the final thing that happens here is Commander Pixis is the one who saves Eren. He's like, okay, we're going to give this Titan freak a chance. We'll see how it goes. It's a risk, but we'll see what we can do. And he gives him a final mission of, Eren, you say you're a Titan man? Okay, we'll see how that goes. Go plug the fucking wall. So, at episode 10 here now, we now have a potentially feasible plan to actually retake something from what the Titans have seized from humanity. And just the idea of that, compared to all the nightmare we've seen so far, is very hope-inspiring and does feel very good.
Well, and it's a big turnaround, too, because until Eren Titan shows up, there is no reason to be hopeful about anything. Like, I really think that what those first 7 episodes are trying to hammer in is like, no, we will all die. Like, there is no plan of action. Humanity has nothing that will work. Like, everything we're trying is failing. Everybody's dying. You're our best and brightest, and you're still not enough. Like, if it weren't for the fact that Eren could turn into a Titan, they would be fucked. And that is not his decision or nobody knows how the fuck that happened or why, except for somebody somewhere. You know?
Well, hey, speaking on that front, and the other mystery, so Eren, we get a flashback. Eren seemed to have been granted this Titan shifting power by his dad. His dad, who was a doctor, mysterious,
injected him with some shit
and gave him that key. So we've got the thing, and Eren
get to the basement,
his memories.
Eren. You gotta get to the fucking basement.
The basement plot is full steam ahead. He remembers that his dad said the answers to the secrets of all. It's all in the basement. So we have a goal. How many? Luckily, we've got 3 full seasons that are already out. I believe that the answer exists in there somewhere. So we will find it if we just persevere ahead. So I'm looking forward to it. I didn't get that far, so I don't know what's in the fucking basement. So,
your answer is in there. Just stare down the barrel.
So we'll find out together if you're watching with this. Maybe you already know. Don't spoil it for us. We'll see when we get there. Or do, whatever. I'm not going to read these comments anyway. All right, everybody. That's it. That's it.
That's it. Send us a Khantehnt bumper like the one that you're about to see through either Twitter or our Discord, which is linked in the description, and subscribe to the Subscribe Star to get our bonus episodes. They are fun.
Hell
They're just
yeah, bro.
like this, but there's more.
There's more of them. There's so many more, and more coming to you soon. Thanks for watching, everybody. We will see you next time. Bye-bye.